Hello guys, welcome back, and in this lesson I want to show you how to use computed properties in LiveWire. So you might be wondering why is this even important when using LiveWire. This is because if you've ever used Vue, React, those front-end technologies, those front-end framework, you'll understand that computed properties, they are basically derived properties, all right? Usually when your application loads or you render a certain page, you want to have these derived properties. And what happens is that when you have complex queries and you have derived properties, probably these derived properties will hold a lot of data. And as such, computed properties gives you the power to cache these properties. So anytime you render a page, you don't have to necessarily, load data from the database, but rather you can just get this data from the cache, from the cache location. And by any chance, if you update this table in the backend, you also refresh these computed properties, you'll be able to catch up and understand once we do this practically, and also check out the documentation just to understand more. So when working with small applications, this might not necessarily have a lot of advantage. When your application grows and becomes, huge and scales and holds a lot of data, then computed properties becomes very, very advantageous because they will help you to store data, they will help you to cache data and not necessarily make, complex queries every time you get data. So with that, let us dive in and see how we can be able to do this. So what I want to do is that now, currently, of course, we have this list to do up here that we have, and doesn't have much of the data as you can guess. So what I want to do is to create a factory. A factory is used to generate fake data for testing. And to do that in Laravel is very simple. So I'm going inside my course here, and I'm going to use this command php artisan make factory, and then the name of the model, which is to do, and then you attach that to the name factory. So when I run that, this will create a file here by the name to do factory, and then I'll just pass the name of the columns that I want to generate data for. And then I can just use this. There is a fake method, and I can just say name like that, and then I can say also I want description. All right, so like that, and the description can be maybe just a sentence, a simple sentence like that. So that will suffice. And then remember, the ID is generated automatically, and then I need to use the Laravel Tinker to run this factory. So I need to say php artisan tinker. This will open the command prompt for using Tinker, and then I can just say my models to do. I want a factory for that guy, and I want this factory to have a count. All right, count like this. What am I doing here? And maybe this count should be 50, and of course I want to create this guy like that, and this should create the factory, all right, with around 50 records. So if now I go to my okay, so one thing more that I can do is now on the list task I can paginate by 10. Paginating by 1, it won't make sense because I'll have 50 pages. So let's go now here to our guy and do a quick refresh here and see. So now this is what we have. Those description, they are quite funny. Like this one, it's a bit longer, so it has displaced this guy. But anyway, I can just delete this for now. All right. Remember, if you haven't checked my videos on how to build all these to do stuff, kindly make sure you check them. They are they are readily available. Yeah, so I've deleted that one, and I have 6 pages. I don't know. Oh, okay, I understand. I had some data. That is why we have 6 pages. But anyway, that is fine for now. So what I want to do next is that I want to use what we call the computed properties in LiveWire, all right? And they are just basically the derived properties. And in our case here, so if I go to the to LiveWire documentation, we just go to LiveWire documentation here and just take you through some of these things here. You are told, all right. Computed properties are a way to create derived properties in LiveWire, like accessors on Eloquent model, all right? So they are used to create derived properties, and basic usage, of course, you just need to have this computed on top of your method that you want it to compute or to create a specific value. And the method name here in this case is the one that we'll use to reference the derived data. So in our case, what I can do, yeah, just create a simple method that will return all the, the full query builder for all the to do. So I can just say, all right, what am I doing? Just say public function to do's like this, and then okay, this name it can mhm. Okay, this is fine for now, I believe. And then we can move this we can move this query builder that generates all the data here. All right, and then now we can just say done like this, and then here we can use now our guy who is hashtag computed like this, and then now inside here we can just say that our to do should be equal to this. I'll say to do's like this, and we are good. So that will just do the same thing that we have done before. But now the good thing with this is that now you see this data that we have just extracted here. We can be able even to cache this data and use it more oftenly. Yeah, that will mean that our application can be able to render more fast. The performance will just improve. So now let's see if anything has broken here. If I do a refresh here, nothing has broken, so it means our application is doing just fine. So let's refresh again. Nothing has broken. Say Molly. I believe there's something like that. Okay, let's do another search and say Mose. Okay, Mose. I've seen something like that. Say Mose like this. So everything still works fine. So that is perfect. So the next thing that we can do, I don't know, probably we can add some padding for this guy, but that is for later. Now let us just work with the computed properties. So that is what you can do with your computed properties. And now, if you're accessing these computed properties on your Laravel blade file on your component on your view side, then you need to access using this. And remember, computed properties, you're accessing a method directly. You see here, there is no public property user defined anywhere. Instead, we have this function which is called user. And then now, if I need to access the data now on the um, on the blade side, I need to use this and then call the method name. So that is how you access computed properties on your Laravel blade files. And then here you're told the performance advantage of computed properties. You're told you may be asking yourself why computed properties at all. Why not just call the method directly? Accessing our method as a computed properties offers a performance advantage over calling a method. Internally, when computed properties is executed for the first time, Laravel caches the returned value. This way, any subsequent accesses in the request will return the cached value instead of executing multiple times, which is quite interesting. Actually, by default, the computed properties are cached. So, which means as long as I'm on this page, and I haven't done any refresh or what, anytime I access this data is already cached. All right, if I haven't updated this page or anything, this data is already cached. All right, so which is quite interesting. Yeah, and I think that is one big thing with Livewire. And if I move down, you're told that let me see down, we can move down here to caching between. Sometimes you like to cache the value of a computed properties for a lifetime, for a lifespan of a live wire components rather than it being cleared after every request. All right, so in this case you can use Laravel caching utilities. So if I need to cache this thing for a long time, the way I'll do in Laravel, probably I'll do something like this. All right. So I'll need to create a key, and then I need to create a key, and then I'll need to specify the time for the caching. This is what you will basically do on Laravel, and I've done this quite some, in a number of times in my project. So you need to use this cache remember, and then you'll cache for 1 hour with a specific key, all these things. But now here is the magic of Livewire. In Livewire, but as you have noticed, most of this code is predictable and can easily be abstracted, and that is what exactly Livewire has done. Because of this, Livewire computed attribute provides a helpful persist parameter. By applying persist true to a method, you can achieve the same result without extra code. Imagine how beautiful this thing is, that we can be able just to cache data by simply just passing this persist value here. If I go now to my computed guy here and just do something of this and just paste this guy here, and I'm able to persist the data or to cache the data for the time that I want. In the above example, when this user is accessed, so when the computed properties is accessed from the component, it will continue to be cached for the duration of the Livewire component of the page. This means that the actual eloquent query will only be executed once. Livewire caches persist value for 1 hour. You can override this default by passing an additional second. So by default, it caches data for 1 hour. If you want 2 hours, that is the third argument that you'll copy here, and then I'll use our guy here like that one, and then we are good. So the other thing that you need to take notice of is that this cache data needs, of course, to be what do I call it needs to be unvalidated, or you need to refresh the cache once you have cached the data. And that is because, for example, now what I wanted to show you is that if I go back now, let us say I want to invalidate the cache once I have added new data, that is to refresh the cache so that the data being accessed is not used, or is not cached data, but now the new data that has the new value. You can simply use this and set guy. Where is it? You can simply use, where is that guy? Let's see, persistent 200. All right, where is that? We can simply say, yeah, we can simply call this and set. For example, here we can go to our code here, and then inside the list task here, where I'm adding new data. In our case here, we are adding data in the create to do. So in our case here, this might be a little bit tricky. The reason being is because I'm using different components, and I might need to do something like after I've added this data here, I might need maybe to dispatch, this dispatch dispatch maybe dispatch an event. Let's call this event invalidate, or let us say refresh to do. So because these components are in different files, I'll need to do something like this so that when I go inside the list task, I need to listen to that event here and say public function, maybe refresh to do like this. And then inside here, I can just press this guy, and then that will do the trick. And then I can say something like this, and the guy here. Okay, we can use on for getting the event, which is refresh to do. So this will still do the trick. So here, when I alert the user that that has been created successfully, I can, I can dispatch this event, and then on the list I can listen to that event and refresh the cache. So this will still do the trick. So guys, that is how you use computed properties. Try it out, check it out, and let me know what is your experience with it. And then in the next lesson, we'll continue and make this more viable. And hope you guys have learned something, you have enjoyed. If you like, subscribe, and until we meet again, bye bye.